Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt about it. The road in recent seasons for Oklahoma has been a danger zone. Barely above 500 over the last 5 years. In road games for the Sooners, 16 and 14. Quite the contrary from their home record over the last 5 years, which has been an astonishing 35 and 0 since the TCU loss in early of 2005. Simply put, the best team in the country at home over the last 5 years, but on the road, they're barely better than a coin flip result, which means a lot of anxiety for Oklahoma Sooner fans, coaches, and of course the players. While there is no perfect answer as to why the Sooners, simply put, don't play their best on the road, there are theories that are behind that, and I have a few. Number one, simply put, the offense seems to go into shells at times on the road. Back this up with their numbers. Over the last 5 years at Gaylord Memorial in Norman, Oklahoma's averaged over 40 points a game. On the road in that same time span, about half, a little over 20 points a game. So right there, that's proof that Oklahoma, when they play on the road, win or lose, it's a struggle. But I think the biggest reason why the Sooners don't play as well on the road as they do at home, it's comfort. When they're at home, they play looser. They play more relaxed. I don't think it has a whole lot to do with the environment at Gaylord Memorial because I don't think it's one of the 20 loudest venues in the country. Very rarely do the Sooner fans get to the decibel level as comparable to, let's say, LSU or Florida or Ohio State or Nebraska as far as those home environments go. It simply put is not an intimidating place to play, so we can't say that that is a factor as to why OU wins so many games at home. I think it's just a sense of comfort and a sense of confidence, knowing when they step on the field, they know they're going to win the game, and sometimes their opponents know that as well. On the road, the confidence level to me doesn't appear to be as high. I think they call plays more conservatively on the road, and sometimes they'll get you beat. So I think it's confidence. I think it's probably play calling a little bit. And I think it's mental. And the only way you get over road difficulties is by winning. I've said that time and time again. So we'll see if the Sooners over these next few years, after they were so good on the road from 2000 to 2004, we'll see if you can get that road swagger back as they'll play a critical road game this week, only a 3-point favorite to win at Texas A&M on Saturday night. As far as the Sooners go, right now, they've got a Big 12 South race to contend with. They, Oklahoma State, and Baylor, of all teams, tied for first. Actually, Baylor's a half game ahead because they played one more game than the Cowboys and the Sooners. But all three teams neck and neck with only one loss apiece, with Baylor playing at OSU this Saturday. The Sooners know that they're going to have to keep pace. They know it's not going to be easy because 3 of their final 4 games are, you got it, on the road. So it will be gut check time for the 7-1 Sooners. And by the way, Corey Nelson, who has been a big contributor for Oklahoma on the defensive side this season at linebacker, well, he's going to be going against a team that I guess you can say he burned on signing day just a few months ago. Yes, Corey Nelson had committed to Texas A&M, but on recruiting day decommitted and went to, of course, Oklahoma. So I'll be curious to see if A&M fans have remembered that. I'm sure they have. But Corey Nelson, one of several Oklahoma freshmen who not only played and started, but also have made a big impact. And that's why Oklahoma Sooner fans need to be very excited about the future because of these freshmen. You know, Tony Jefferson from the nickelback slot, Trey Millard at fullback, just to name a few freshmen. And, of course, the 2 freshman running backs, Brennan Clay and Roy Finch. The freshman class for Oklahoma, wow, have they been impactful or what? OU taking on a Texas A&M team that when you look at their body of work this year, yes, they haven't beaten anybody good. But on the other hand, they haven't lost to anybody really bad. All 3 of their losses this year, 3 of them, have come to ranked opponents. Missouri, Oklahoma State, and Arkansas. So entering this game Saturday, the Sooners and the Aggies, I still don't know what to think about Texas A&M. I still think they're very good offensively. I think their receivers are very talented. Defensively, against the run, I think they're pretty good, but against the pass, it's the same old Aggies. And this is an area that they still, I don't think, have shown improvement in, which is why I think Oklahoma should be able to score a lot of points in this contest. But for Oklahoma to win, they know it's going to have to come from more than just their offense. The defense is going to have to contain new starting quarterback Ryan Tannehill. If you don't know, their starting quarterback at the beginning of the year, Gerard Johnson, was named the Big 12 preseason Offensive Player of the Year. Granted, Johnson has not been 100% healthy the whole year, but at the same time, when he's in the game and when healthy, the guy has not lived up to the hype, hasn't lived up to expectations. Last week, we saw Tannehill start for the first time, the former wide receiver for several years for the Aggies, threw for nearly 450 yards, 4 TDs in A&M's impressive win over Texas Tech. And I know you might be thinking Texas Tech's bad, and this year they are the worst team in the Big 12 South, in my opinion. How they beat Baylor is beyond me. But getting back to Tannehill, he had 300 yards passing, nearly 300 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns in the first half of that game. No doubt, Tannehill is a big pickup for this A&M offensive attack. Something to remember, though, about this game, I think something that will play a factor. Even though A&M's passing attack is very potent, the running game lacks depth. Christian Michael, the leading rusher for the Aggies last year and this year with over 600 yards, broke his leg in last week's game, obviously out for the rest of the year. So Cyrus Gray, who's known more as a kickoff return specialist, now assumes responsibility from the running back position, even though when he stepped in as running back, did quite well against the Red Raiders. So offensively, Oklahoma will have their hands full. Defensively, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, must establish the run because A&M is number 1 in the Big 12 in rush defense, but pass defense, they are third to last in the conference. So opportunity there, but only if Oklahoma is balanced. Let's go ahead and highlight the 4 keys to this game on the weekly matchup show between the Sooners and Aggies. Key number 1, you have to get in Tannehill's grill, something that Oklahoma did not do 2 weeks ago against Blaine Gabbert while on the road. Gabbert could have had a picnic in the pocket, completed his food, and still could have burned Oklahoma. In fact, he probably did have a picnic against Oklahoma 2 weeks ago with that basket and still carved up the Sooner defense. Big reason why was because Oklahoma got no push at all on the interiors. So it is time for the Sooner defense to learn from the Missouri game and capitalize against the Aggies. Getting Tannehill's grill, we'll see how Tannehill, who is a pretty good athlete, by the way, not just a efficient quarterback, he can hurt you getting out of the pocket as well. Oklahoma puts pressure on him. Let's see if Tannehill has the type of ball game that he had last week against Tech. Probably won't happen if the Sooner front 7 do their part, in particular the front 4. Number 2, establish the run. It's this simple. Oklahoma cannot establish the run. A&M will absolutely tee off on Landry Jones. Jones has had a very productive season, could be on pace to throw for 4,000 yards this season. He's already thrown for over 2,600. But if the ground game does not get going, you can rest assured that A&M will be blitzing a little more than normal. And when under pressure, Landry Jones has not been the best quarterback around. Key number 3, take more than you give. We've talked about this before. The Sooners this year have been terrific as far as not giving up the ball. They've only had 8 turnovers through 8 games. Pretty good. But takeaways has not been their strongest category this season. Didn't have any takeaways, I don't think, against Colorado. Didn't have any against Iowa State, despite winning both of those games easily. Not enough takeaways against Missouri, and they didn't take advantage of the one critical takeaway in that Mizzou game 2 weeks ago because they missed a chip shot field goal. So, playing on the road, need all the help you can get in that Kyle Field environment, and takeaways, I think, could be a weapon for Oklahoma, but they need to utilize that. And number 4, I will say this on road games until Oklahoma can solve it, finish the game strong against Mizzou 2 weeks ago. I harken back to that Mizzou game, but also the Cincinnati, Texas Air Force games where Oklahoma's fourth quarter was the worst quarter that they play. Simply put, just not enough gas to finish the job. Could be physical conditioning. I don't think it is. It could be up here where I think it is. The Sooners need to finish off strong. Fourth quarter against Missouri got absolutely kicked. And if it's a close game in this one, playing on the road, Oklahoma will get gut checked big time. So finish the game strong. Final thoughts on this game. A&M, are they better defensively than they were last year? Just a little bit. Von Miller, publications during the offseason, the outstanding linebacker from the Aggies, or so we thought so. Statistically, pale in comparison to what he did a year ago. So far, he's been a little bit of a disappointment. But the rush defense for A&M has improved. Still, this is an A&M defense that should be vulnerable against Oklahoma. As long as the Sooners can finish the game strong, and more importantly, or just as importantly, as long as they're balanced running and passing, I think Oklahoma should be able to win this ball game and score a lot of points doing it. 38-28 is my final score prediction. I think the line on this game is off. Oklahoma should be favored by more than 3. The Sooners should win by 10, and it should be a pretty good game for Landry Jones. And I'm expecting big things from the improving freshman running back Roy Finch, and also expect DeMarco Murray to be utilized as a receiver from the slot. 38-28, my final score prediction of OU and Texas A&M. Before we close things out, just a reminder, ESPN, if you've had a chance to watch their 30 for 30 specials in which they have shown documentaries of sports stories over the past 30 years, including the University of Miami and their rise to stardom in the 80s. They did one just recently on track star and now WNBA player Marion Jones, and they've had some others as well, Reggie Miller. They've highlighted Drazen Petrovic and Vlade Divac. So it's really been detailed documentaries. The Los Angeles Raiders, they had one on the Los Angeles Raiders, directed by Ice Cube. Well, this upcoming week, just a reminder, and we're going to show here at the bottom of the screen the time and the date. ESPN's latest 30 for 30 will be about Marcus Dupree, the outstanding Oklahoma running back. He was outstanding for 1 year, one of the most talented players Oklahoma's ever had, made the cover of Sports Illustrated, as you can see. And back in 1982, he was a star. Name of the show is called The Best That Never Was, because even though he was productive in the brief time he was with Oklahoma, there was another side to Marcus Dupree, and it was not a pleasant ending at all with Barry Switzer and Dupree, and of course with the OU program. So Marcus Dupree, The Best That Never Was. Even if you are not a Sooner fan, it sounds like it's going to be a 30 for 30 worth watching. And if you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan and never even watched Marcus Dupree or heard of him, definitely watch it as well. So that's coming up next week on ESPN. Final score, again, my prediction, OU 38, A&M 28. On Sunday morning, I'll have my post-game show of the Sooners and the Aggies. Boomer Sooner.